My name is Luke Dill. I am a retired Green Beret from the U.S. Army. I am also the founder and senior instructor for Sojourner Fieldcraft. It's a bushcraft and survival company in Tennessee. We train folks in essential skills, wilderness skills, and what do you do in the event your gear fails you? And how do you add depth and breadth to your knowledge to increase your chances of survival and overall just enjoyment in the wilderness? I created the platform to train others and show them that they're capable of far more than they may think. When it comes to knot tying, I think one of the biggest areas where people overcomplicate or overlook is just understanding the basics. There's a famous saying, if you can't tie a knot, tie a lot. And I would challenge that. I would say it takes just a little bit of effort to teach yourself some essential knots and those that you can be prepared to utilize in whether it's planned or unplanned situations while you're out in the wilderness. So today we're going to cover knot tying. I want to go over several knots that are just essential and others that would be complementary to your experience. You can practice these knots at home before you go. Practice them yourself first. And then whoever you're going to take with you, then you can, operate as their guide and train them, teach them how to tie the knots. It's potentially a bonding experience right there. If you have this essential skill, it will likely improve your time together while you're out in the wilderness.
When it comes to knot tying and practicing, what you're going to want is a pliable rope, one that you can manipulate, one that will sort of remain in place when you let it go. What you're seeing in front of you is two colors. So we've got our white and brown, and we've got our blue. The reason for that is as we go into different knots, it's easier to see where the rope is feeding when you've got multiple colors going on. So as you can see, just for practice, so this is two 6-foot pieces of rope. Pliable, kind of sticks where it's at, and I can manipulate this as I please. For the bowline knot, what we're going to do is we'll start by draping the rope over your one hand, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take the rope, fold it over, take your free running end after you pinch this, take your free running end, come up through the hole, go around the other rope, feed it back through the hole, grab and pinch right there, and then grab your top rope, the end of the rope, and you're going to pull tight from both sides. And what you're going to have in the end is a loop that does not go up and down. It's secured right here. But then also you're going to know that the bowline is done correctly when you've got the tail, the free running end, is on the inside of the loop. So the bowline knot, also known as the king of the knots, is incredibly stable under tension. This knot is untied easily once the load is removed. It's a go-to choice in critical situations, in everyday usage. This is an overall fantastic knot. This is the reef knot, otherwise known as the square knot. We're going to feed the blue over top and then immediately underneath, and then we're going to take the brown, creating sort of a U with our long ends running straight either side. After that, we're going to take and cross over, blue underneath, brown over top. I'm going to take the blue rope and I'm going to feed it through the center, back down through here, and I'm going to feed it back along itself. Pull it through. I'm going to hold both tail ends. Well, it's tight. What you're going to see is this figure 8 right there. And that is the reef knot. For the double fisherman's knot, I'm using the blue rope on the bottom here and then the white and brown on the top. And the reason for that is so you can tell where one begins and the other ends. We're going to begin with the blue. I'm going to push it up above, kind of just lock it in there, get the white and brown out of the way for a moment. And I'm going to grab both the white and brown and the blue, and I'm going to feed this underneath. I'm going to go ahead and do a second loop around. underneath both again. And then I'm going to hold both loops up and I'm going to feed the rope through. I'm just going to kind of use both sides here, you can see, until it's nice and secure. We've got our tail running out, and then we've got our X. And so you know that it's looking pretty good. So for the second side, for our white and brown, it's going to look slightly different. We're going to go over. So we go over the blue, and I'm going to take the tail. I'm going to feed it underneath the blue. We're going to create an X with the white and brown, and that's going to go right over top of the blue. And after we've created our X, I'm going to feed it underneath both ropes. I'm going to grab the X, lift it, and I'm going to feed that rope straight through, pulling from both sides. As you can see, that X is starting to shape, starting to form again right there. And we've got our tail. And so from there, we've got both sides tied. And then what I can do is I can take the slack out and I just grab each rope, pull them tight until you can see they've locked together. And then the harder I pull, the tighter this thing gets. This is an incredibly useful knot for tying two ropes together. Of note, one thing that you can do with this is, as you see the knots are together here, I can take and I can just go ahead and pull them out. I can adjust that length as I desire, and then I can go ahead straight back, pull it tight again, and that's not going anywhere. For the Prusik knot, we're going to begin. Just as a reference, this is a 6-foot rope. And what we've done is we've got one single rope and it's tied, it's secured on both ends via the double Fishermans. You can see there, hold it nice and tight, nice and secure. So we take our rope, just place it underneath the other rope. We're going to take our double Fisherman's knot, feed it over and through. And what we want to do, keep a hold on this other end, and we're going to feed through just like that, over the top, through the center, ensuring that you don't overlap ropes. And you're going to do that 3 times. So you run through 3 times, you push through, and then I'm just going to go ahead and tighten this thing down, working it, both sides of it as I go, easing it together. Got that there. And what you want to do, we're going to look through there. No overlap, and you've got 6. Boom, 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 boom. So we've got 6 in a row with our lead. And this is our, we might secure it to a D-ring. We're going to secure it to whatever it is that we need to secure it to. One thing that's unique about this knot, so what we can do is I can slide this freely up and down this rope as I wish. But once I put pressure on that knot, then it's going to grab. Okay, when I'm pulling, and I'm pulling with significant weight and pressure, this knot locks down on the other rope. However, once that weight is back off, I can easily slide the Prusik up and down the other rope. So this next knot is the cow hitch. If I'm in the campsite and I want to hang a lantern or a light or something on a clothesline or across a branch, this is an incredibly easy knot to do. It's quick. For the cow hitch, we take our free running end, we go around the branch. I'm going to pull it through. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck it underneath my rope, back around the branch, and I'm going to feed it through that very same inside. And then we're just going to do is pull this there, and that's what we've got. In reverse, we're going to go over the branch, the free running in, you go up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this, I'm going to go around, feed it through, and you can see, very fast, very easy method to secure rope to a branch. light loads, temporary loads, very easy to use. The constrictor knot. So this is an incredibly strong knot that tightens under load. It needs to be around a spherical object like the top of a bag, a bundle, a hose, a branch like this. Of note, it will not work very well under something flat. So for your first step, you're going to go over top the log to free running end. We're going to come up, around. We're going to put X over top. I'm going to reach around. And once I pull around here, I'm going to go up over top my long end. So I'm going to go over that. And I'm going to lift my X and I'm going to feed it underneath. And it's going to go underneath both of them. And I'm going to grab my free running end and the longer end. I'm going to go ahead and just work this thing together. As you can see, it's tight. Just give it a nice tighten down there. And this thing, as you pull on it, it's going to get tighter and tighter. Under this knot, if you put enough pressure, the only solution could be that you're going to need to cut it off in the end. But it's an incredibly strong knot that rarely loosens on its own. So what you're looking at here is a simple solution to a knot tying station at the house. This is our back deck. And this is just our sort of securing rope. We've got it between two pillars, secured on both ends, nice and tight. And we've got this Prusik knot here, just as an example. And this is the best way to practice your knots at home, with the family, with friends, however you want to do it. These things are fantastic. You can put them up in a few minutes and take them right back down. It's like nothing was there. So this is one example with a rope of a knot tying station, and we have one more to show you. So this is a more robust rope tying station. What I did was I took a log from a fallen tree and I created a stand on either side, screwed the thing together, and it has created a sturdy, very sturdy rope tying station. I can take this thing to any site I want, throw it in the back of the truck, take it to a training event, or just have the kids practice knots in the backyard, and they absolutely love it.
Knot tying is just one of the skills that I cover in my training program. If you're interested, you can check out sojournerfieldcraft.com, where we've got products listed, and we've also got our different training programs at our facility. I focus primarily on hands-on training after blocks of instruction, where we go over critical skills for the wilderness and also skills that are just kind of nice to have. Some rank higher than others as far as how in-depth you need to understand them. Knot tying is going to be integrated throughout all different aspects of backpacking, whether it's tying your boots, securing your gear, repairing equipment, preparing your campsite, and whatever else you may encounter while you're out in the wilderness. It is essential to at least have a general understanding of knots and knot tying. You may be surprised to see how often knot tying comes in handy. I certainly have been, and use it every single time I go out, especially when I take my boys. My sons are 2, 4, and we've got one on the way. I teach them bushcraft and survival skills every chance I get. It's heartwarming to me to see when they successfully navigate, the trail, the course, whatever the skill is that they're trying to accomplish. When I see them achieve that goal and see their face light up, it's just the best feeling in the world. I like to help others be prepared and be the one who can be the rock out in the woods, out in the wilderness, to not only train yourself so you're better prepared, but that you can be better prepared to protect others and to help others have an enjoyable experience out in the wilderness. We've created a quick reference guide for knot tying. It's going to cover several of the knots that we went over today, and it's also going to be something you can print off and take with you, an easy guide you can pull out and give yourself a refresher. This is something that we would like to offer you. I appreciate that you guys took the time to sit down and to learn through this experience. It's fantastic to know that there are folks out there that are willing to do this, put themselves out there, and also to help get others out in the wilderness and backpacking. I hope that you learned something from all of us at Sojourner Fieldcraft. We wish you the best.